We're at the secret space.
Top secret?
It's not called Tritech. We're out picking up some serious metal today. The smallest piece we're gonna get today. We're carting 8x4 foot sheets of aluminum. Those are right there. Those are our babies. The majority of that is gonna be used for the bottom of the car. Yes, it's aluminum, but it's much less expensive compared to carbon fiber. And really, you know, the same thickness, you're talking similar strengths and a lot of room to learn. Perfect. Now we're gonna take this back to the shop. We are in good shape. It is a hot ass week here in Ontario. And so if you see sweat dripping, it's gonna look like a waterfall at this point. We've got a very exciting project that we're working on with the 4-rotor, and it's finally starting the body work. We've had two different companies who've offered to help, unfortunately fall through. They're both really good companies, and due to their COVID, whatever the situation is there, I don't know, they're unable to take the car on. I'm in no hurry, but I want to do it right. Well, might as well end up doing it ourselves. Not that I want to, but I might have some people come over and help guide us, because first of all, you know that I'm a perfectionist when it comes to what I want the body to look like. But we can start with baby pieces. And the very first piece that's gonna look radical with minimal risk is the front splitter. I had already, 3 months ago, designed a front splitter piece. You know we're back to business when it's GoPro footage time. Do a little arts and crafts here. Quite frankly, I'm gonna use this similar shape, kind of inspired by my APR front splitter. 4 feet wide gives me from about the center of the axle to more than plenty of distance in the front. Obviously, this is a massive piece of cardboard. In all of my chicken scratch, this is ultimately what I'm gonna be building. There it is. I'm gonna have to move these jack stands so I can place it up there and see how it fits. It already is just massive. Okay, well that's the start. Roughly the same on this side. Clears the control arm, much better. So that is ultimately what it's gonna look like. It is extended on the front, so that way we can always trim it down, because I have no idea what the body's gonna look like, and I want this to reflect the body. So it's gonna look a little extreme at first, but what we're gonna do right now is cut out little stands, because the chassis is at different heights. The height underneath the control arms, the height underneath the front of the bumper are two totally different heights. They're about 2.5 inches in difference. So we're gonna have different height mounts. The important thing is that this is gonna be made out of aluminum first, actually 0.160 for those of you wondering exact thicknesses. The whole bottom's gonna be made out of aluminum because that was a resource we had, and then we'll convert it to carbon fiber as soon as we figure it out. I don't wanna cut carbon fiber over and over again. Aluminum, I'm okay with that because we can weld it back together. So we're gonna make enough stands to withstand this car going 300 miles an hour and being held by the entire flat bottom of the car. That way, if we have double the car's weight in downforce, those pieces don't get ripped off. I experienced that with the 3-rotor at the half-mile event, so I've learned my lesson without dying, and I'm very thankful for that. One of the first problems is that this front corner is sticking up maybe about a 1/2 inch higher than the other side. No amount of Taco Bell in my system is gonna give me enough weight with this little bit of leverage to bring that down, unfortunately. So we do have that issue. Thankfully, the chassis itself is square and straight, surprisingly, after all this time. So what we're gonna do, when I purchased the CNC machine, I bought it from a father-son combo, and they sold me all of the scraps too. I took all their scraps, which was good for them as well. But we have these scraps that are actually 2.25 inches, and we're gonna put them under the frame and then put the aluminum underneath that, and that is the resting height of the splitter. And then the front bumper with its twisting will deal with that after that. We're gonna go ahead and either take this over to the bandsaw or just take an angle grinder and lop off the major parts of this on that. This thing is definitely meant for business. It's aggressive race looking, but what we'll probably have happen is I'll have it in 2 pieces ultimately, so there'll always be the flat bottom of the car underneath the bottom. That is an absolute requirement. But if you want to really suck some air into the front instead of going under the car, that's where the splitter will come into place. It's actually not meant so much for air coming in, it's for air that hits the intercooler or any of the front body and wants to go somewhere. It wants to go everywhere, the path of least resistance, so it'll go everywhere, including under the car. This basically says, no, you go up, and it hits and comes back up and either goes up into or over the car, creating the downforce. I just moved the Corvette out so we have a nice amount of space for this 8x4 sheet. What really fascinates me is aluminum, in many cases, isn't charge for, you don't pay for it by the shape, you pay for it by the pound. Want to see something cool? Let's see. Yeah, there are a lot of skills that you use from school. Trig, calculus, but this is probably one of the finest ones. It's tracing. We're gonna move the bandsaw out and ultimately kind of cut it, take as much weight off of it as possible first, and then go for more of the fine cuts. It's gonna take 2 of us to pick this piece up and feed it, but we now have it all in a good space. I'm gonna wear these because I'm gonna be in the line of fire. Okay, here we go. There we have it. Much lighter. Not as light as the cardboard though. It should be symmetrical, so it shouldn't matter which side's which. And you're gonna see it's gonna hit on that side. I've owed Maverick this for quite some time. Look at how atrocious I have done. I apologize. I didn't know that this could happen. How is that a thing? So we'll clean this up and then we'll cut these little pieces out. So Andrew has a theory he wants to try this sort of model, and I'm all for it because we can always find the lightest weight, best solution for this. And we do want it to be kind of a failure point if we completely bottom or high side the middle of the car. So that is our very first piece to test. We're gonna pop it out of there and see how the finish looks. At least it's gonna be cold, with the idea of it going around the tube there and then vertical edge that you see on the screen connecting to the piece. A little bit of shit to clean off, but that was a pretty clean cut. It's so neat because you can actually feel the metal separate from the bottom as it's welding. It causes these two to pull out. And so look at this, that gap right there. Mm-hmm. So now I'm gonna put them in the vise and then weld this side and then finish welding it.
Came out good.
Yeah. Welcome to my beautiful wares. I make beautiful colored jewelry. This is actually what happens when you put tons of heat into it. And you can see the welds are a little bit more melty. Kind of neat to see that. But what we're doing right here is going to be a setup where there are 2 holes where there's either going to be one sheet here, one sheet here, whatever the case may be. We're going to end up welding this onto here, and then it will sit onto the tube like that. But we're going to finish that up tomorrow. Okay, so we are tacking in a couple more of the floor mounts to get the centerpiece on. All those little double bubble things that we made. It's finally time to tack them to the car. So we got the wheels off, so you guys can be able to see it from this angle. I'm going to struggle under the car. That light under here is perfect. Mm-hmm. Fuck.
Got stuck. I think it's just when I'm around.
It is. So it's funny, I can actually feel it pulling up towards the front. Some very important things here. I do not want to pierce or to modify the core frame. This is more or less being grafted onto it, so I'm not going as hot. I also don't have the experience to go and successfully do it. This is not a core chassis part. This is simply a hanger. You're seeing me err on the side of less penetration, so it looks like shit. But it actually is very, very functional. And as we've seen, this actually is meant to be the weak link in the chain. now we finally got the front little pieces made for the front. You wouldn't even, like, they don't even, the bumper's hiding them perfectly. So this will hold the very front of the front splitter on. 1, 2, 3, all hidden nice in there. We'll deal with the corners. That's a separate issue we'll talk about later in the series. But these are so well hidden in this material that's going to be on the front bumper that why not use the most leverage to our advantage. That's why it's nice to have a mask. Yeah. I mean, that's... any of my welding friends will know what I just did backwards is I fed the rod behind the puddle, and that's, I mean, obviously I can take the front bumper off to finish this, but it actually turned out pretty good. It's under the car. I don't know. Alright, so given the circumstances, the whole bumper is actually on an angle, and we're squaring it up and dealing with what we can, but this is only the first revision of these angles. These parts are going to get cut off and redone. So we do have a little bit of room, a little bit of playing room to add washers and figure this one out. It is, again, how many times have I built a custom car from the ground up? 0. So this case has me bummed out that I don't have the perfect answer on everything, but as soon as you do it once, now it's easier to critique than to create, and you'll find a better solution. Because why the fuck do I have it like this? Oh, I'll do it this better this time. Get that out. Yep. Okay. Let me just set that aside. Put the splitter on. Take a little piece of tungsten, run it through the hole, make a circle, and then drill these 3 holes, and we have the core of the front splitter all done. So many different purposes.
I see that. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's just
yeah. Just barely. That's looking good. Wow. That's definitely a shin killer. The center core part though is strong. Yeah. At the very least, we have a massive front under tray on solid. And these are all actually really level. Look at that.